There's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, and it's the idea that the casual things that we say every day have way more power than we realize. Not just the big affirmations or mantras, but the offhand comments, the jokes about ourselves, the little complaints that feel harmless in the moment. Because here's the thing, when you talk badly about yourself, even casually, you're essentially speaking that version of yourself into existence. Your subconscious doesn't really know the difference between what's a joke, what's an exaggeration, and what's fact. It just knows that this is how you're talking about yourself. And over time, it starts to believe you. So when you say things like, I'm so bad at this, or I'm always late, I'm just not disciplined, even if you say it lightly or with a laugh, your nervous system and subconscious are listening. And eventually, you start to become the person you keep describing. And this doesn't just apply to how we talk about ourselves, it applies to how we talk about everything. Think about how often we commiserate over things that are honestly pretty insignificant in the grand scheme. You walk into work and spend 5 minutes complaining about traffic, or weather, or how tired you are, or how annoying something was that already happened and is already over. It can feel good in the short term, like a release. But what it actually does is creates this snowball of low grade, icky energy that follows you around all day. You didn't fix the traffic, you didn't undo what happened. You just gave it airtime. And attention is fuel. But this is something that took me years of practice to really notice. I had to start catching myself when a negative thought popped into my head and ask, do I really need to say this out loud right now? And what I realized is most of the time, the answer is no. There are plenty of negative thoughts that pass through my brain every day, but I've noticed that saying them out loud almost never makes me feel as satisfied as I think it will. It really doesn't bring that much relief, it just makes the thought louder. And then I heard this line that stopped me in my tracks. And it's, if you have to vent the same story to more than two people, you're not looking for a solution, you're looking for attention. Now, that can sound harsh at first, and I don't mean to shame anyone because honestly, we all do this sometimes. Sometimes we don't want a solution. We just want someone to say, yeah, that sucks, and your feelings are valid. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But here's where it can work against us. The more airtime we give our frustrations, the more they grow. So instead of endlessly repeating it, what if you paused and asked yourself, what would actually help me feel better right now? Maybe you vent once to one safe person. You get it out, you feel heard. And then here's the key part, you pivot. You consciously shift the conversation to something neutral or lighter or even slightly positive. And then you make a decision to not stuff it down, but to stop speaking about it anymore. Not because you're suppressing it, but because you're done feeding it. When you stop giving something words, it has a chance to dissipate, to lose momentum, or to fade out. And on the flip side, when you start choosing things that feel good to talk about, things that excite you or interest you, or bring you even a small amount of appreciation, it can completely change the trajectory of your day. And now, this isn't about toxic positivity. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about being intentional with your energy. Your words are powerful. They shape how you feel, they shape how you see yourself, they shape what sticks around in your life and what falls away. And when you practice this daily, catching the unnecessary negativity and choosing to not speak it, and consciously giving your words to things that feel better, you start to notice something shift. The old frustrations don't hit as hard anymore. The little stuff stops ruining your mood. Your days feel so much lighter. And over time, without forcing anything, you realize you've built a really beautiful life, one with way less friction, just by being mindful of what you choose to say. Because what you speak, you strengthen. Have a great day.